video. Set intro video. Yeah.
I don't know why Ryan Hartman is attacking me. Unedited from McDonald's parking lot. I had never filmed in a McDonald's parking lot.
Yeah, but if you don't, that might be the only way you actually get anything good going.
I don't really know why you're being so judgy right now, Todd.
I'm not being judgy. They're being judged. They're being.
Dang, I just joined on. I hadn't been here 2 minutes and I'm already getting just shot down. What the heck?
Well, they're just because you're always cutting out and stuff.
I mean, I'm definitely going to cut out today. I mean, it is East Texas internet, so there's no question whatsoever that at some point it's going to get all messed up.
Hey, Zach's part of my private channel. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to read that. I want to see what you. Did you do that?
Yeah, I would do it, but
no. But like, could you do it in this day? Like,
I mean, it's just different now. Everything's different now.
I know. So that's yeah. I mean, I can. We used to. Is it guessing? How do you call it? What do you call it? Like, so if you took, I'll put it to you this way: if someone went over there to Toledo, right, and they gave you an offshore map,
yeah.
How many spots could you pick that actually had fish? So say someone that's never seen the Toledo map. How many spots, if they picked 100 spots, how many of them would have fish on it?
60. For sure. I mean, if offshore, like if it's like a
I'm going less than 10.
No, it'd be more than that.
Less than 10, no problem.
I mean, if they know what they're doing.
Less than 10,
you're crazy.
No problem.
Crazy.
You're telling me in June you can go to Toledo.
I'm not saying catch 20 pounds, but go catch a bass. Yes.
No.
100%.
No.
I will. We can agree to disagree, but I'm telling you, I could mark, and not even just
not you.
I know. You. I don't fish Rayburn ever, but I could mark up 100 spots, and 50 of them are going to have fish on them.
Let me tell you,
something like that.
Let me tell you something.
That's right. I basically run points and hope, because that's reality. Like if you went to a lake you'd never been to, you could mark out 50 points, main lake points, and more than half would have fish on them. You're crazy, especially live scope and forward facing sonar. You're gonna find bass everywhere.
Dude,
that's what it does. It just calls the bass in whenever you turn.
I want to take this bet so bad. I will go out next week live with you on Rayburn.
Okay.
And I would love. I will bet $1 million.
You ain't got $1 million. Neither do I.
True. I will bet whatever I want that you couldn't catch. You couldn't catch.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, no. Hush. No, hush.
Because you said June. Right now? No, I couldn't mark 100 spots right now. But in June?
No. Yeah. I guarantee you couldn't catch. You couldn't catch off 25 spots in June, and you know Rayburn.
I don't know Rayburn that well. Dude, I've been there one time this year.
That doesn't matter. How many times have you been to Rayburn? Over 100, 200, 300?
I don't know.
There's no way. I mean, there's no way. It's not that. Are you what?
All I said is catch a bass. Bass, not 50 bass, not 10 bass, a bass.
You got to catch it.
Huh?
You got to catch it.
Oh, see, now you're taking shots too. I mean, dude, I hadn't been here 5 minutes and I'm already getting shot down.
By who?
You.
No, you got to catch. You can't say, "Oh, there's a bass swimming around," like within 100-foot radius, which is basically like, well, that's like 200 foot in any direction, and be like, "Oh, see, there's a bass on screen," and then you can't. No.
But I mean, I agree. You got to catch said bass.
Said bass. You could not go to Rayburn in June and catch 25 fish.
Dang. I'm going to have to get off your
spots.
channel. Bassman Andrew, if you don't start finishing under 100th place, your channel is just another Randy Blockett. Good Lord. What did I do to everybody?
Hold on.
Bassman is who posted it.
I don't know who that is.
I mean,
he's your guest. Back off. No. I'm not going, because that's wild.
Right there on that goal right there. I can dunk on that goal right behind me.
That's wild.
I-
No, you
yeah,
can't.
okay.
There's no way you can do that. I couldn't go to Rayburn. I could go to like 100 spots on Rayburn and never catch a bass.
Because you're Todd, though. You throw
Toledo?
the same thing all the time.
Toledo, no way.
Oh, Toledo's easier. What are you talking about?
Way worse. Way
No.
worse.
No.
Dude, there was like
Actually,
14,
Rayburn's easier because it has so many spotted bass in places like that.
14. Oh, now we're going spotted bass, 8-inch spotted
It's a
bass.
bass.
No.
I'm saying you catch said bass.
So one, by the time it would take you to catch a fish off every single spot, you wouldn't be able to actually hit that many.
Here we go. Here's more excuses.
No, it's not you. I'm just saying you couldn't do it. There's just no, but you're not allowed to go like pick. I'm saying if you didn't know Toledo at all, dude, I could just look at Toledo and just find I bet you I could mark 1,000 spots in less than like 30 minutes. And they're going to be like, oh, well, this is easy stuff. But I mean, I'm just telling you,
once again,
90% of them won't have a bass.
between going and like smoking on them and
no, they wouldn't have a bass.
Like that. You'd be surprised how many, like, just say Toledo, for instance.
Not just a random fish. You got to catch it.
I agree. I'm saying like a bass, just a bass. If you went and ran every point, Main Lake Point on Toledo, there's a bass living on almost every point. A bass.
That's not the same. That's like,
well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's not breaking down. Well, then breaking down a map is
that's not what you
irrelevant.
said. I said I could give you 100 places to go catch a bass, and 60 of them you would.
Well, I could get that's not the same. That's like saying I can just go out there in the middle of the lake and eventually see a bass randomly.
I was explaining my side of it.
Whatever. Don't backtrack now.
I didn't backtrack nothing. I've said what I said. And I agree with Andrew Tucker. Go to Lake Houston and catch a 20-pound limit. That would be hard.
Trying to think if I've ever done it.
I don't think I've ever. I know I haven't ever been to.
You've never even been to Lake Houston.
I've never been to Lake Houston. I don't even know much about it. See, Trinity Easterwood is correct. Todd is wrong for once.
Well, how am I wrong?
And Mike Soul, Castledine keeps moving the goalposts on Upshaw. Absolutely.
No, you're moving the goalposts.
No, I've stated from the beginning what it was.
No.
I've kept my argument the exact same.
Not that a bass is just randomly swimming around places. That means you can just put a dot anywhere. Well, that's why no one's going to watch your YouTube. If that's what you're,
Well, I'd have to post a video more than like once every couple weeks.
Hold on, I got to go back here and. I can catch them at any time they're up, but no. You
Brandon Ackerson, Todd is just wrong. Is wrong. A lot he just keeps talking until you give up.
I would love this is what's amazing. I love fishing in this matter. If that's the case, then you should never, ever, ever zero on Toledo, or like you should never not have a limit. You should never it's easy because they're everywhere.
But you're bringing tournaments into it. I'm saying the everyday fishing
out there on the regular day.
I'm saying in June when the fish first get offshore, you can go to 60% of the places you go to. You can catch a bass.
That's wild.
If I just started marking Main Lake points, you're going to catch a bass.
No, you're not. There might be a bass on a point that's freaking 500 yards long. Doesn't mean you're going to catch it. Now
you're putting stipulations on.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. I didn't know there were stipulations on it. Otherwise, I'd have said I'd agree with you, but I didn't know there was all these extra stipulations on your stuff, Todd.
Well, so that's what people are doing now is they're just going around out there fishing freaking points that are just giant, trying to catch one bass off of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's horrible. Look, you even know that's ridiculous. And you wouldn't catch a fish. It would take you 3 hours to catch that one fish. You would catch what? 10 in a day. That's not even right math. That's not even mathing right. That's how you
You're
would
not
math
mathing
right
right,
there.
Todd.
That's how you would math. Yeah, freaking
Yes, definitely.
dude. The funniest thing is I get more questions, and maybe it's bad because I won't put out videos of me catching fish on the hybrid hunter on rock because
Well, you don't even have to.
well, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like Kentucky Lake for sure. Well, I've done it in Tennessee too, but Kentucky Lake, and I haven't been where was that one place? Where'd you win the championship on?
Cumberland.
I caught him on that thing there.
I mean, you can catch them on. A buddy of mine when we were
I catch him at Kentucky Lake all the time.
at Santee, he caught them around all the cypress trees, banging around the cypress trees. Like caught them really good, like big ones.
I catch him around rock, I catch him around rock all the time. I just don't post some of those videos because we go there. Like I did it on Lake of the Ozarks. I just won't post it. I do it on Table Rock. I won't. I did a video and I kind of threw in me catching one or two at Table Rock, but I was trying to like kind of keep it hush. Did I catch them on Fort Gibson? I caught some big ones on Fort Gibson on it.
Yeah.
Grand. It doesn't
The
matter.
big question
Like,
I always get is like which size to throw, and it's always kind of surprising, like because everybody asks me like, "Oh,
I
which
think
size hybrid hunter are you?" The big
there. See, that's why they're making fun of you right there. That's why. See,
hey, but the big question I always get is which size to throw, and I always throw the big one. Like 95% of the time, I throw the big one. 5% of the time, I throw the little one. Is like if I'm on a lake with rock or wood, or if I'm in a situation where it's super cold and I need to get a little bit better presentation in the grass. But the big one is, I mean, it catches big ones, so like that's what I'm going to throw.
I almost I keep the small ones in my big box. So I got a big I got
Yeah.
I think I got a box of big ones, box of shallow ones, and sometimes I have extra ones. But I'll keep the small ones in my box of big ones because I realize that every once in a while I'll need a small one. Like I'm with you about 5% of the time,
Yeah.
and I just have to make sure I have one.
Like if it's a really good hybrid hunter bite, and like I've like for 2 straight days I've seen this area and caught them on said hybrid hunter, the big one, I'll go to the little one just to kind of maximize bait, bites.
No.
I agree with that. I agree with you, Todd.
No,
Actually, on that.
it's that's why it is like it's so there are baits out there that catch there's certain baits that catch multiple fish, right? I mean, there's
You could take a
I'll put
chatterbait. I mean, the most obvious is a chatterbait.
the
Everybody
chatterbait.
throws a chatterbait everywhere.
I would say like 9 times out of 10 I beat it if definitely around grass. I would say 9 times out of 10 I beat everyone around me throwing
Hybrid hunter.
a hybrid hunter over a chatterbait.
I'll piggyback off of you for a second. Todd and I fished a team tournament a couple years ago on Rayburn, and I was on the. I might have been fishing off the back deck just to get space to cast.
You are.
And I was casting the opposite direction, so nobody can say, "Well, you were just fishing behind him and he was catching them." And I caught a ton on a trap. I mean, caught quite a few. I mean, it was like every cast, and in one place. And I caught a bunch of 2 to 2.5 pounders, 2 3/4 pounders, and then Todd catches a 5 and a 6, and I never saw one all day that was anywhere on my trap. And I feel like I'm fairly good at fishing a trap or lipless crankbait, and it was just nonstop fish for me. But for whatever reason, that hybrid hunter, and I don't know if it's just the size, the sound, the way it looks coming through the water, it's maybe a mixture of everything. It just attracts bigger bites, and you're not going to get those same bites with a trap all the time. I mean, you might get a big one or 2 big ones in a day, but consistently speaking, that the big hybrid hunter gets you a big bite way more than a trap or chatterbait. And I will say this: chatterbait will catch you a really big one, and it will catch a lot of really big ones. I mean, I've been in the boat, I've caught them, I've had co-anglers catch them.
And listen, there's times when it's better. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that there are more times than not, if they're biting a hybrid hunter, it would be very, very hard to like if you're catching like 60 a day on a hybrid hunter, then yeah, you can probably catch them on other baits.
Yeah.
If it's hard to get a bite and you're catching like 8 or 10, yeah, chances are
that 8 or 10 is going to weigh more than
yeah.
on another
And that's
bait.
usually what happens when fishing gets tough. That's when certain baits are better than others. When fishing's really good, you can go out there and catch fish, and there's a chance that you could go throw a chatterbait the whole time. Someone's throwing a hybrid hunter, and y'all both catch like 40. Chances are, if you both catch 40, the guy with the hybrid hunter is going to have bigger bites overall. Now, the guy with the chatterbait still might have like a 10-pounder. You know, it's you can't. That's the thing is we're not thinking about this as like a one-time deal or a one-day deal.
Yeah.
We're just looking at it over 2000 and when, Andrew? 2007 or 8?
8. It was 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have, we're talking, and they're in like 2008. Yeah, 2008, 16 years of experience with it. I will say at Pickwick, when I was at Pickwick doing it in that championship a couple of years ago, dude, I smoked everyone. Like, no one around me made a top 10.
Yeah.
And
everybody was chatterbaiting around you, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. And it was so great, too, because one of the guys, so I get these a lot, is that I'll know, someone will know a local, right? So I heard there was a local fishing pretty close to me on day one. And he was throwing a chatterbait, and he was like, I don't get it, man. Castleton was over there freaking wrecking them the first morning. And he was like, he was catching all the big ones.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, yeah, he wasn't throwing what all y'all were throwing. And I mean, this was like a couple years ago. It's not like they couldn't have thrown it, but they just everyone now and there was another guy in the top 10, I know him, who made it to, I don't know if he beat me overall, I can't remember, but he was up there. I think he was beating me after 2 days, and he was like, dude, they were crushing a chatterbait. And I was like, really? And I was like, where were you? And he told me where he was at. And I was like, oh, he had no one over there. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking to myself, God, what would they have done to the hybrid hunter? Like that's the part, is that you can still get beat by someone else, but the other guy was in a better area. I just view it as, if I'm around 20 guys and I'm crushing them better than everyone else, it tells you what bait's better.
Well, the other thing about it is it's the hybrid hunter doesn't work everywhere. I mean, and it's not. And there's times that I'll pick it up on a lake and I'm like, man, they're going to eat it here, and they don't. And it is what it is. But when they are on it, it's hard for me not to have a couple on the deck, a couple different colors, whatever it may be, because I know just from years and years of throwing it, if they're on it, it is a tournament bait. It is a bait that you can go out there and possibly win with, top 10 with, something like that. So, like I said, it's not going to be great everywhere, but it is. Yes, and hybrid hunter in Florida is amazing.
Listen, there's a couple bait, like I will always call a chatterbait. Like I have to like make myself call it a thunder cricket. I will always call it a trap.
Yeah.
I think if I'm ever deep cranking, it'll always be a 6XD. Yeah. What?
A Cinco.
A Cinco's a Cinco. Like, yeah, I mean, there's a Coke. I'm from the South, man.
Yeah,
we don't call anything pop.
What kind of Coke you want, Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, what kind of Coke you want, Dr. Pepper? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, no, I get it for sure.
Shouldn't John be working?
Dude, he don't work no more.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
I need to send him the video. I need to send him the video of my hybrid of the final copy.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Why not?
You don't need to talk about that yet.
No. He's not going to post it. I just need to. Yeah, I'm sending it to him.
John, we're just messing with you, buddy. We know you work way too hard.
This was from yesterday. I saw it.
Where'd you go?
I sent it to Brubaker.
Or what? Did you go to Rayburn or no?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
You remember you were supposed to go with me?
Dude, there ain't no way. Yesterday
I know, but I called you and then you didn't call me back, so I was like, I forget it.
I wish I could have. I didn't even. Yeah. We had to talk about that later, but it was a
I
lot of
caught.
stuff.
I hung a 9-pounder yesterday.
Why didn't you catch it?
Like,
How do you
dude,
know it was a 9-pounder? Did you wait on your line? You have a scale on your line?
I'll show you the video of it. It might have been bigger. It hit.
Yeah.
I saw it hit at the boat, and then
Oh
it
my
jumped
God.
about like 5 feet out of the air. It was freaking all.
You've
I got
been
it all.
seeing some big ones out there, so I'm not surprised.
Dude,
So,
it's all on the. It's been all on the same. Yeah, it's been crazy. Anyways, yeah. What other?
so
What?
what were we actually supposed to talk about today?
Oh, well, I don't really
I don't
nothing.
even remember.
I didn't tell you anything. I figured, like I said, they were waiting for the. How's
Oh,
the hunter
everyone's
work?
taking their sweet time.
How's the hunter work in eelgrass? That works like all the other stupid
Yeah.
baits in eelgrass.
Yeah, like crap.
Yeah,
If it
eelgrass.
touches it, it just sticks to everything. Whichever way.
Eelgrass is the worst.
Yeah.
Didn't know what the hybrid hunter is. Hey man, you got to get out from underneath your rock.
Hey, Doug said the hunchback is underrated.
It is.
Yeah, it is a great bait. I've won a lot of money on the hunchback. I hadn't thrown it as much.
The hunchback made its debut because Andrew got in the boat with me and I showed it to him, and then all of a sudden in the college freaking bracket to go to the classic, he throws it.
And
Didn't you catch like a 6-pounder on it?
yeah, crushed him on it.
There's nothing worse.
I mean, it still catches them certain places.
Huh?
It still catches them because you
Oh,
can't get them as easy.
I'll tell you what you do. I'm gonna make a video on this. You know what you throw now? We got it.
Nothing.
No,
Oh,
freaking Strike King's new Raid Shad.
which one is that? Is that the top water?
Yeah, it's like the old school one, but like we redid it. I threw it yesterday, dude. It's like I've thrown it now a couple times, and it's freaking. It's like a plopper buzz bait, but like weedless.
Oh yeah. Is that the one that like floats on both sides or like the air pockets?
No, it's just like the old one. It's just designed a little bit
But
better.
it has the tails a little better, isn't it?
Yeah. See, like where'd you get that color from? I made it. I made the color. That like because like I literally like draw it, like color it on there, and it freaking. I started doing that because the color I got was like so bright and gaudy.
Oh, did you draw? You colored it? I forgot.
I colored it, and dude, that's the one I catch them all on now.
Is it a bluegill? What did you color it? Shad, bluegill?
Yeah. Okay.
You just said yeah. You didn't say what it was.
Oh, well, yeah.
Don't send me the clip because I'm posting it, no doubt.
So did you get it? Did I freeze up a little bit?
No.
Oh, felt like I froze. My internet's.
Don't send me the video.
My internet's
posting,
sketchy. I'm not going to
send
send
a
you the
waypoint. I'm gonna post on Fish Tips where your spot is.
I'll do it if just to put it for like $1,000. I will say that it's really close.
The final copy was what he's talking about.
We don't have to talk about it.
No, he asked what the bait was called, and I said the final copy.
Yeah.
Swim bait.
Well, this looks familiar. Yeah. What were we going to talk? Oh, so because I don't know where did this all get going on the hybrid hunter thing?
Yeah, somebody asked a question about it.
No, for the topwater and eelgrass. Oh, Raid Shad.
Raid Shad. It's a new like
So
frog type bait.
Strike King used to have one. Maybe they still do. They still?
No, they don't have it anymore.
You sure? I got tons of them.
Yeah.
So it's just like that, but designed a little bit better to where it's better. So that one, if you used to Raid Shad or Buzz Minnow, Raid Shad.
Raid Shad. Yeah.
So when you used to throw that Raid Shad, if you reeled it really, really fast, like over time, like after an hour or two, the tail would like rip.
Yeah.
And so they reinforced the tail and they made it a little bit flatter and longer. And so you can like reel it forever. It's louder I think it's louder. And it like, I always like the fact that you can put that. I don't think Steve Parks, probably shouldn't be saying this. I don't think Steve Parks wanted to do this, but I didn't care because I'm like, no, they made it for a single hook.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You want to throw the double hook on it.
Yeah, you throw the double owner frog hook on there and it's freaking perfect.
Yeah.
It's so like it literally is almost made for that hook. And I'm like, no, this is what you, because I hate the single hook.
Well, and that's anytime I'm throwing any type of toad on top of the water, double hook always. It's
Double hook always.
always like you miss half. You don't even miss them hardly ever unless they just coming up and slapping at it.
That thing freaking absolute like that. So there are certain baits. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what are the best baits ever for practice fishing. That's one of them. The Young Money Hound was a great practice bait.
Yeah,
And if
you
anyone, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Buzz baits for me are great practice baits. They're great for like on Rayburn. They're great for getting.
On Rayburn, definitely they're good.
Yeah,
practice
they're
baits
great for like. There's times where I'm like, man, I'm just gonna go throw a buzz bait with a hook on it. That way, I can get a whole bunch of blowups, and I don't have to worry about hooking any of them because they'll miss it. So there's a couple baits I have that are great practice baits. Never throw them in a tournament because
I will say this though: if Strike King ever came out with the hook harness design that I made for a buzz bait, you'd miss far less of them. You remember when I did that back in like 2009? Didn't it really freeze up?
no,
No, you're just being.
don't
You
even
know,
start.
huh?
You didn't do that. I did that.
No, I did that. You don't remember me taking the swivels and doing all that stuff on the shank of the hook? You did the swim jig with the blade on it.
Andrew, I did the buzzbait thing.
What?
Andrew,
Are you sure?
1,000,000%.
I don't think you're 1,000,000% sure on that one.
1,000,000%. What is wrong with
Why did what
this?
if you did it, then why don't you do it for Strike King?
Because
Yeah.
because it's not going. I never did it for anyone because I realized it was just going to be a rig, not an actual new bait, and that anyone
Well, you
could
can
do
put
it.
it on a new bait,
It
but you'd have
wouldn't.
to actually put stuff on the eye. I mean, it'd take a little work, but I
Yeah, but
mean,
it'd still just be like bring. Nah, I'd rather just nah. And plus, I just gave up on they like I just don't throw buzz baits. I don't throw buzz baits. I don't see where
no, Troy, I'm not going to it.
what.
He said, we cannot discuss the lake, but are you coming to the open at Lake Martin? No, I'm not.
We can discuss the lake all we want to.
No, I'm not gonna. I won't talk. I've never been to Lake Martin, so I wouldn't even know what to discuss. So
Can we discuss the lake?
I mean, we're not fishing.
I
in
can
the
do anything I
tournament.
want to.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it's a public forum, so you can talk.
yeah. So, can see. Look, frozen again. So can Troy listen? So can Troy listen if we start talking about it?
Well, yeah, because it's
Okay.
it's public information. Everybody
never
has
been.
access to it.
I've never been there. I don't know.
I don't know nothing about it. I just know it's on South Part, Alabama.
All I heard about it was I heard it the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, you can call like 30 times on the lake and weigh
And gain like a half a pound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said we can discuss Bodark.
We
Todd
can.
won't talk about it.
I've been there a couple times.
I still haven't been.
I don't from all I know is, and I should have gone back, is that I'll bet $1 million. Well,
Oh, here you go with your $1 million.
I'll bet $1 million again.
You're gonna be losing. That's $2 million. You're gonna lose then.
Nah, that's how I make money. I was there. I didn't see hardly anyone doing what I was doing, and they all kind of went and did the same thing. And then I think a lot of the people who are posting videos and stuff down there are all doing the same thing. And I've just fished enough new lakes to know that, or I fished a couple new lakes to know that you can go do some stuff up there and have a blast. I'm going to go do it next year. I thought I was going to go do it this year, but this winter is going to be a good one. Yeah, this winter's probably going to be pretty good. Like if you probably got an Alabama rig down there in the wintertime would be sick.
Yeah, I bet it will.
I don't know.
Dude that hunts with a crossbow. First off, I don't hunt very much anymore at all, but definitely not a crossbow hunter. But I don't like to bow hunt either. I like to bird hunt. I just like to shoot. I don't really care about hunting anything.
I'll shoot with a crossbow or anything else if freaking I'm just telling where we're about to live. Yeah, hogs are already coming in our freaking side of our house, like the side of our property, like right up next to the house. One got in the backyard, so they're about to freaking feel the wrath. And I just don't know if I'll shoot them with a bow. I'll shoot them with whatever.
Andrew's an upland hunter. No, I don't go hunt pheasants and stuff. I like to dove hunt. I'd just rather go hang out with my buddies, go shoot a bunch of dove, and be done with it.
Dove
Like,
hunt's my number one thing.
I mean, that's all. If I could pick anything to go hunt, it's dove hunting. No questions asked. Like, go
How
have fun.
do how do fishermen? How do those guys that fish deer hunt? And the only reason I say that is I'm like a million miles an hour down the bank guy.
Mhm.
And like I always said, if I had to just sit on a spot, and maybe that's like those guys that like sit on spots and like make the same cast all day long every day.
Yeah.
I guess those are the guys that like to deer hunt. Because I get out there deer hunting, and I'm like, I'd rather go freaking walk through the woods than deer hunt.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm at. Well, that's my point there too. Like, the most boring thing in the world is to go sit in the sand. It is adrenaline rush when you see a big deer come out. Something like
Yeah.
that. Cool. But the thing that I don't know is, like, when we fish all year, okay? We fish all year and I'm away from my family and all that stuff for the whole year. Like, the last thing on my mind is to come home and be away from my family for the whole fall too.
I agree. I only did it this past couple years because of the kids, and they both shot a deer last year, and I'll do it again. But I mean, and my father-in-law likes to do it, and like I'll do it. It just doesn't. I'll do it.
I'm kind of like with Hartman there. I would much rather be out catching 6 and 7 pound smallmouth or anything for that matter. I mean, I used to hunt all the time growing up, all the way through early part of college and everything. But when I really started fishing, it was really hard to, you know, it's not really what I was really interested in.
That goes like putting feet down and watching, and not really.
I don't know. I like rattling in deer. I always thought that was like the most fun. That's all I ever used to do especially the later part of the deer hunting that I did. It was always trying to call them in, something like that.
Dude, hog hunting's fun. Dude, I've been hog hunting. Like, that's freaking a blast.
I know you're gonna probably make fun of me, but I could care less. I've never been hog hunting, like an actual, like, real hog hunt. I've never been.
Like,
I've shot
catch 'em.
hogs.
Like, catch them.
Yeah, I've never done it ever.
Yeah, I will only go with certain people that are from back home that have been doing it their whole lives.
Yeah.
Because, but I mean, that was fun. Like, I've done that, and that's like a blast.
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to do the helicopter hunt for hogs.
Oh, that looks fun too.
Dude, that looks like so much. See, that's kind of my kind of stuff. Like, I'd rather go do like something like that.
Dude, so listen, I will say this. So I get out there on wherever. I went fishing yesterday, and
I love how you didn't say where it's at. You know,
they've been schooling. They've been schooling like in certain places.
Yeah.
And it's October, and it's fall, and of course we're not having any cold fronts, so it's not like it's fall yet. But anyways, I get out there, and in the fall, so in the summertime, you can see them school, like big time school,
Yeah.
right? Like 50 to 100 of them come up,
Yeah.
and then you see how many different schools there are, right? Well, now maybe like 5 come up,
Mhm.
4, or maybe just 1 here and there. And I got on this one stretch, and dude, and I've got it. I video recorded it. And I'm gonna put it out there, and it's just for like the sake of. I'm sure because if I put out a live scope video, everyone goes nuts. I'm like, this isn't like me catching them. I don't really catch them. I catch a couple. I leave because I just don't care about doing. I want to go do something else. That's why I went and caught. I had a 9-pounder and a 5-pounder or whatever else. But I just showed it I stayed there for like an hour. And dude, it was insane the amount of fish that show up on my live scope. Like,
Yeah.
over 100 to 150 at times, and not like in a wad, like just that many on the screen doing this and it didn't matter which way I panned. And I was going, this is insane. But no one's fishing. I have not seen anyone there for a month or two. It's everyone on the lake has everyone, 100% of the people have to drive by it. No one stops. It's just right there. But there's nothing there. It's not a spot. It's just a big giant area, and they're all there. And it just, I've probably driven over that thing for like 20 years and never knew it.
Yeah.
And they're only there now. I'm not saying they're always there. I'm just saying it's incredible how many fish are out there like that. And without LiveScope, we would have never have known that. And I'm not saying you can't even, it's impossible. It's like kind of shooting. You ever gone dove hunting when like 20 birds fly over? And you're like, and you don't
even know which one to shoot,
but you still shoot right in the middle of them, and none of them, you can't cast to any of them because there's so many of them. You can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's just wild. It's just interesting.
And to Todd's point, I mean, when you do see just one blow up this time of year, you look under it and there's 50, 60, 100.
God.
I mean, it's unreal. And it's like, I don't even know what to do with it. I mean, because it is just so many fish. And all you see is one little boop. And there's so many more. It's crazy. What are you
and I freaking caught monsters out there yesterday.
Of course you did.
Monsters. I found so the other day when I went, I smashed on bass, and then it was pretty funny. I'll have this whole video. It's gonna be like a 3-hour long video on YouTube. I'm gonna do it. I don't know, like 10 people are gonna watch it. I don't care. I'm still gonna do it. But I caught a limited crappie.
Subscribers, I feel sorry for them.
Huh?
I feel sorry for your subscribers.
Well, they don't have to watch, but it was just funny how I'd like bass fish and I'd catch them, and then like the next stop would be like I would see like a little something, and I'd catch like 3 or 4 crappie and then keep going and then catch 3 or 4 crappie. And I just did it throughout the entire day. I had a limited crappie, but yesterday I stopped on a couple spots. I found a new spot too, but I mean, I think I could probably find like 30 spots in a day. New spots every single day.
That's how many crappie are out in some of those places.
Golly, and man, I caught some big ones, but I wanted some fish tacos, so I actually kept them this time.
Heck yeah, nothing wrong with that.
I am setting up a camera. A buddy of mine's coming over because I don't.
Let me know where you set it up, and I'm just gonna like have people dress up and walk across the camera screen.
Dude, right now, so I've been out there freaking killing poison ivy for the past. Because I know my kids are all gonna be out there, and I'm allergic to it too. So I've been out there.
Oh, you're allergic to it?
Yeah, I mean, I've always gotten it, but I've been out there spraying it all and like in sections at a time when I see it. But yeah, I'm freaking. I'll set it up. I saw a big one out there, so I know they've been getting in there. I saw some deer run across the road yesterday, but I was running out there one morning, like pretty early, and I mean a giant one. Giant hog came strutting across the road, probably about 60 yards from me. Big enough to make me kind of stop in my tracks for a second, because I was like, oh, that thing's freaking, and I was like, all right, I'm already tired. I don't know how fast I can run. Not that it would charge me, but I mean, it was a big one, and I was going, all right, that one's going down. I'll get him coming.
You're ridiculous.
The class 3 weapon thing, the assault on hogs is awesome. I will say this: 336 volt batteries, 336 lithiums.
So you're on 3. How many am I running? No, I'm gonna run 2.
I burned up 3 the other day.
Did you? Yeah. See, I'm running 3 cranking batteries for my electronics and my motor. That way everything's just running off one system, but it's all, I mean, dude, you can't kill it. I mean, it's freaking crazy.
Well, the best is, and I'm sure someone will get on here and go, have you gotten these batteries? You can't run them down. Let's see. So I'm 100% on killing batteries in a day.
I mean, I run Relion, and I haven't, at least in this boat the way I have it set up, I haven't burned anything down.
But everyone's like, oh, like I got a bunch of guys like, man, I got 136 volt and I can go all day long. I'm like, well, yeah, because what you do, I'm like, all these battery companies and all these people and all of them, everyone, until you've done one thing, I don't want to hear what anyone has to say. Until you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, drop the boat down, put it on 100, freaking push that button on automatic and let that thing go on 100, and you tell me how long you can go.
Yep.
I don't care. And so all these people that say, well, I fish this way, I'm like, I could fish off 136-volt battery too on certain days. But I just know no one was doing what I was doing the other day. And I wanted it on high or the notch below.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it there in the amp hours, they're all asking about amp hours. I got 40. I'm getting 60 on my next ones. But, and this was like a one-time probably thing. I mean, it took me a long time to do it, like a lot of hours. Yeah, it is. No, I'm not.
No doubt. 100% agree.
He's wrong.
No,
It's just not in a straight line.
He's not wrong, Todd.
Not in circles. I don't go in circles.
I mean, you might as well be.
No.
Because that's how you talk about half the times is in circles.
300 amp batteries. I've never even seen 100 amp.
I haven't seen the hundreds. I've heard, well,
For the
is
60s.
Is it Dakota that came out with the hundreds?
Do they?
Somebody came out with hundreds. I don't remember who it was, but
I mean, I got impulses, and those have been the best batteries I've had ever. And they make 60s, and I'm getting them.
Mike, so Todd's got a busy brain. Yes, he does.
Well,
Yes,
just smart. You know, I got a lot of things going on up in there. Got, you know.
Epic. Is that Epic? I don't know how to pronounce that. I've always wondered how to EPOCH. How do you pronounce that? Do you know how?
Epcot.
Epoch? I have no idea. Like I've
I was
always
kinda like the
wondered. I don't know
Epcot
how to
Center.
pronounce that.
Oh, this is great. What is the point of lithium if you have to buy 336 volts? Thank you for this question. Love it. Okay. One, impulses or any other impulse is great because you can actually get them. Is Andrew frozen? So I can't even tell. Yeah, he's frozen. Good. He doesn't need to be in here. If you buy regular batteries, you can always at any point in time go to Walmart and get another battery just to put it in place, right? So if you've got 3 12-volt regular AGM batteries, lead acid, whatever it is, look here, everyone's freaking chiming in. You can always go get another one just to get you by. Remember, we're traveling around the country. Like, it doesn't even matter if you're traveling around the country. Wherever you're traveling to, say you bought all your batteries from wherever, and then you go to a lake 2 hours away. It's always the night before when your batteries goes bad. You have a tournament the next day. What do? Right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to drive all the way back home to get the warranty on your battery. You're going to go get another battery. Okay. Fast forward to lithiums. If you're going to have lithiums, which are better, easier to charge, all that other stuff, they're more expensive, yes, but they're better. If you buy 3 12-volt batteries, what happens when one of them goes out?
Right.
That's the whole thing. So you better carry 4 12-volt batteries if you're going to have lithiums, and everyone, because I'm just telling you, the one time you're going to need it is the one time you need it.
Yep.
And so with 336s, if one of mine ever happens to go out or something happens, 2 can pretty much get me by 90% of the time. Right? Unless I'm sight fishing or like certain times in the fall. So, I mean, 2 will get you by until you go get that one replaced. But that is why I do it. And there's a couple things. I can handle a motor breaking on me. I can handle a lot of things. The one thing I never want, the worst possible scenario, because even if your motor blows up at 10 o'clock, you can still fish for the rest of the day. If batteries go out on you, you're freaking done. You're done. You got nothing to do. So a battery to me is more important than my motor.
Well,
that's why.
Well, I was going to actually throw it back. Do you remember back in the day when we all bought the platinum diehards from, where was that from? Sears? I think it was Sears where we were buying them from.
Sears.
That was the battery that we would run. It was expensive as heck too for just a regular battery. But those wouldn't even last. I mean, you were having to switch them out quite a bit.
That wasn't the point of my question. I understand having a backup. All I'm saying already killing 3 days is pointless. I've killed every single battery I've ever had.
I mean, Brandon, I think it has more to do with the way he fishes. I fish with him a lot of times. Even when he's fishing slow, he's still on like 7. To the point where I'm like, Todd, slow down.
7, mine never goes below 7.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
If
what it
7
is.
was enough, like we don't have that anymore on Garmin's, but
But no, you
I've
know what I'm
gotten
saying though. Like 3/4 speed is what
the
you stay
amount
with.
of arguments I've gotten into with battery owners is like insane. You know how and I say that only because of what they tell me back.
Yeah.
And they're like, because I remember one time they're like, you went, because I got a 36 volt, 136-volt battery lasts me about, I can kill it in under 3 hours normal fishing. And he goes, the guy was like, and this is another guy. He goes, hey, well, what were you doing? I'm like, I was just fishing. He was like, what kind of load did you have on it? And when he said that, I was like, load? That's normal load. He was like, well, like where was it at? I'm like, I don't know, 7 or 8. He's like, oh, you had a full load on it. I'm like, no, full load's 10. Full loads all the way up. He's like, well, 7. And I'm like, okay, see, we're already off on the wrong foot. 7 is normal. Like 3, basically, if I put it on 3 and there was a 1-mile-an-hour wind, I'd go backwards.
Aaron, I wire mine in parallel. I'm assuming Todd does the same because I can't imagine him going back there every 3 hours and switching his batteries around.
No, my 36s are all parallel.
Yeah. Now, back in the day, I remember when you would switch them. You remember that?
I used to carry 6 batteries with me on the boat
Uh-huh.
during sight fishing.
Yep.
No one knew what it was, but I would have 3. I had rigged up 3 batteries, all ready to go with giant freaking 10-foot wires. And when I would run through those first 3 batteries, I would go back there, unhook it, and I had a system and I could do it. It sucked charging them too, but mine does not charge when the big motors. I got, and I'll say this, and I agree with them. The lithium or the Impulse has their own charger, and from pretty much every lithium-based battery company I've talked to or heard about, they all say that they highly recommend using their own charger. And I don't think they're trying to sell their charger. They're just saying that, like, man, they built, and I kind of agree with them. It's pretty common sense. Like, they built their charger to charge their batteries. Yeah. And these aren't regular batteries, right? They're smart batteries. Like, and what I mean by that, right? They're smart battery. They have a different setup in how they charge. And so I would probably highly recommend getting the charger and that way, when stuff does happen and you call them up and you talk to them, they're a little bit more going,
refined to the battery. Like
right.
they can diagnose it quicker, that kind of stuff.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I run a PowerPole charge on mine. And when I had my boat last year's boat, I ran into a couple issues like with how it was wired and stuff. So I had to rewire some things, make it work. And it was fine once I figured out what was wrong. But I haven't had a single minutes issue with this one in this boat. It's been really, really good. So
that's what I wanted to talk about. Not really with you. I mean, I don't mind asking you, but that's what I wanted to talk about within the industry of what I've been. I had a pretty funny phone call last night that was pretty funny about what's going on next year and who's fishing what.
Yeah. I mean,
and that was the title. What was it? Everyone is taking their sweet time. That's kind of what it was about. Was everyone's kind of really not wanting to put out schedules, not wanting to do the schedules finally came out, but no one really knows what they want to go do.
Well, I mean, because let's just break it down. I can't break down the MLF stuff because I don't know enough information.
We can break it down. gonna
But
sit back to this. This is
from
gonna get good.
the NPFL side of things, the rumor has it is they've got 2 more rules coming, or 2 more game changing changes to the format or rules or something. So 2 more things are happening, and I have no clue. We're all speculating at this point what they are going to be. And their schedule I thought was supposed to be out this week, but I was told that it might be a week or 2 until it comes out. But I was told I would really like it, but I don't. At the end of the day, like it's going to depend on a whole lot more than just a good schedule. And then the opens, I think we will learn the schedule this week. They've been kind of on the same course every year as by
This
the
week.
last open. Huh?
Today's Friday.
No, this coming week is what I meant.
Okay.
So like when they start this week of the open, the last open at Lake Martin, which was at Lake Hartwell, will they should post a schedule this week. So I'm assuming we will know something, at least from the open standpoint. But the other thing that they haven't announced on the opens is the rules. So when they shared the forward facing sonar stuff, like the changes Bass made, they did not mention the opens in the said press release, only the Elite Series. So they made the changes only for the Elites. So, hypothetically speaking, that probably means that the opens are going to be no holds bar, have as many units. That's all I could think. If they didn't announce it in the same release. But now with the EQ series, it says it has to follow all Elite Series rules, which means no power breaks, limits on inches of screen, transducers, and all that stuff. So, right now everything is up in the air. Because everything's speculation. You don't know what the schedules are going to be. I got a text the other day that Slick posted or did a video on what he believes the schedule is, and for the opens, and it actually sounds about right, to be honest. But I have no idea on the NPFL stuff. But I will say this: when you start looking at everything's going on, the one organization that made the biggest changes for everything was National Professional Fishing League. And they did. But I will say this: the speculation, and this is just stuff that I was told, so rumor crap, is there, and actually Dustin said an NPFL unlimited horsepower. That's one, which I don't necessarily like. I'm kind of whatever about that. I've heard that they're going to bring back the A-Rig. I haven't talked to anybody there, but I've heard that they're going to bring back the A-Rig. Or there's a chance they'll bring, so whatever.
Dude, all their tournaments are in the freaking summer and fall. Who cares?
Yeah. They're still going to have 2 in the spring, 2 in the summer, 2 in the fall. So whatever. So, I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on the NPFL. I think there's going to be a lot of fishermen that you'd be really surprised are going to sign up for it. And I'll be honest, when I made my video the other day talking about all the changes on the opens, it was kind of overwhelming, the people that were in full support of what the NPFL was doing, surprisingly. And I don't know if it was just the people who jumped on the comments, because you never know. The people who want to support the opens or MLF might just been like, I ain't going to comment, because you're not always going to get everybody.
Before we get into that, I cannot get a judgment on what people want, because I can't. I know some of those things are fake. And when I say fake, they're just going to post every single time that forward facing sonar is cheating.
Right.
And like I said, when you do that, I instantly stop listening to you. And so I'll listen to anyone that kind of comes up with what, common sense stuff, like wants to talk about it. But so it's very hard when you do see, I would say most comments are negative. Like some guy made a TikTok video and I just instantly went to the comments because it was on Live Scope and it was this big screen. And I'm like, oh, this can't end well. Because I was like, this comments are going to be bad. And they were. And so I don't know if that's just the way it is nowadays,
Yeah.
but because I can't really tell what people really want because a lot of people have it. Whatchamacallit, Fish the Moment was talking
Yeah.
about if he makes a live scope video. This is okay. So here it is. This is what I can't figure out. He says he makes a live scope video and he doesn't have very many views. Okay. I continually, if I went and looked it up right now, I've done less than 10 live scope videos, maybe 5, 4. 3 of them was like installing one just because people want to install them. Like this will help.
Yeah.
I've done a settings one. The settings one is like off the charts and it stays off the charts all the time. Most of my live scope videos are off the charts. I'm not saying I don't try not to do them. I just do whatever I want to do. It doesn't really matter. But what I'll say is if all those people hate it, how come people keep watching videos on it? And what's funny is there might be some people on here go, hey, if you did a live scope video, I'd turn it off. Maybe so. But for you turning off, maybe 10 other people watch it. And it's amazing how many people it'll say live scope on the heading and people watch it and then bash it. And I'm like, well, why'd you watch it then? So
Yeah.
it's really, and I have very few people bash it. I'm just saying, well, why would you watch it if you knew that? So and none of this really matters to me. I'm just saying I can't get a bead on what people truly want. I
Yeah.
know this for a fact. It is 100% dividing the fishing industry, and which, to be honest with you, I don't really care about because I think me and you have set ourselves apart from the industry on how the industry once was and how we're doing it is totally different. And so that stuff doesn't affect us, but it's going to affect those guys. And I think it's affecting tournaments. It's going to affect it's going to affect all kinds of stuff for tournaments on the highest level, which right now doesn't affect me. So I don't really care.
Well, I mean, obviously I'm
I know
still
that's bad, but I don't care. Dude, Andrew, I
Yeah.
don't care anymore. I don't, if that's not, I don't like the way tournaments are at the highest level. And when I'm saying this, all this stupid live scope stuff and all these things about rules and everything, all of it's pointless to me. You want to know why? They could come out with maybe if they came out with 9 tournaments all on all in Texas, I might fish them. But for the most part, I'm not fishing any of those. I could care less because I'm not going to go spend that kind of money. Nothing's changed with the money. Zero.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Like,
all,
I could have beef with every single tournament organization. I feel like for every good thing they do, they shoot themselves in the foot. Just the same. I mean, just look at what the Opens did. They announced all this stuff. You qualify for the EQs. You pay all this extra money. They've yet to release a payout at all. So are we getting a change payout? Or we're paying $3,500 for the EQ side of things, and then on top of that, they add in that all 100 or however many elite guys are can just go jump in the EQ series. So it goes from 100 anglers that qualify for it to possibly a 200 boat field. Now, granted, will they all fish? No, but I mean, they didn't qualify for that. They just are allowed in. But at the same time, like the NPFL, I mean, I know they added $100,000 for first place, but their payout down past about 15 is rough for their entry fee that you're paying in. So, I mean, we can literally go to every single tournament organization for every good thing they do. If you look at their payouts truly across the board, we're continually paying more money and we're getting less back every year. And and this is just an opinion. This is my opinion, nobody else's. But I honestly believe these tournament organizations absolutely love the fact that we are fighting each other over this live scope bullcrap.
Government.
Because it's smoke and mirrors. They want you to argue about stuff that's going to make your job harder, or make your job easier. Doesn't matter, because it's going to sweat off their back. Truly, it doesn't matter to them. They want you to not focus on the amount of money they're paying back. They want you to not focus on how things are run or where they're going or all this other stuff. They want you to just keep fighting internally.
It's the government.
Nothing.
It's let's complain about all these stupid things that will probably never affect you. And while there's so many more important things I called David Mullins up the other day I was like, man, do you want to do a video on freaking what's going down in Tennessee? I was like, man, because I know he's down there and I'm like, man, like what, like all that's just going on, right? I mean, it's just crazy. Like I'm hearing more and more of this stuff. Like, man, I've seen a bunch of videos of them all doing all kinds of stuff about FEMA, and I might get flagged for this. I don't even know, but I mean, there's just some wild stuff going on there. And yeah, like these organizations are loving the fact that they can.
I'll catch up with you here in a second.
Who that be?
My uncle. He just rolled in. I was like, who the heck is knocking on my door and coming in my house? Scared the crap out of me.
You know, like what they don't like. If you're complaining about all this stuff, and I've said it every once in a while, like, ain't nobody complaining about that money. Nobody. They still like when it's all said and done. And I heard this. I could be wrong. I don't doubt it, but from what I heard is in the BPT, you got to start paying right now. Apparently, you got to start paying $5,000 a month starting now until June, and that's going to cover your whatever. And I was going, because there's nothing better than asking someone to pay $5,000 right now and not fish a tournament until whenever their first tournament is. And I know people are like, why would they do that? I'm like, 5,000 times how many people are they going to have?
Yeah,
65. Right?
You're going to invest said money and
take
make
all that money
off your money.
Yeah, put that in a 3-month CD and then do it again in November.
I mean, but now I will say this: Bass has done that forever.
Yeah,
I mean that, and it makes them more money. I mean, that's good business, though. Truly,
I understand it's good business. I'm just saying that, like, except for the guy that's wanting
to pay said money.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna throw this one in there and we'll get back to that. This is Patty. This is like.
That's an easy one.
This is like the easiest question in the world.
Yeah, it's all day.
Texas Team Trail keeps going down. Yeah. The Texas Team Trail was the best tournament trail in Texas at one point in time. Their freaking incentive money was through the roof. It was insane, all that stuff. Brandon Belt. It's not whether Brandon Belt is better than the Texas Team Trail. It's whether or not Brandon Belt, which I do believe is better than, it's the #1 trail in the country. Hands down, it's not even close. And I would dare to say that it's getting up there to be better than, it's knocking on the door of being better than a Toyota or an Open, or any of those. And the only reason the Open is, the only reason I even throw the Opens in there, because money wise, the Brandon Belt's better.
Mm-hmm.
The Open gives you a shot at the Classic. So for one person, it's better. But overall, Brandon Belt tournament, and the Brandon Belt tournament is going to get better. It's going to get bigger. And there are quite a few even professional anglers, like guys. I mean, the guys have been doing this for 30 years. Guys that are still fishing to this day, they think that Brandon Belt tournaments like that might be the future of fishing and less of this individual fishing, because I think Bass and MLF and all of them have done, they've had a lot of drama this year, but I don't know if it's for all the right reasons. So,
well, Doug said the anglers should be in a union.
He's right.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's right.
But it's so much more complicated than that, because like I know when we were at FLW, my last 2 years at FLW, we stepped up because we saw that we continued to pay too much and we were continually getting pay cuts out.
Who screwed us in that union?
I'm not even going there.
Okay, so listen, here's the thing about like the union.
Other anglers.
Other anglers. And why is that? And let me explain this. This is real easy. What's going on right now with the port workers, right?
Yep.
Guess what they all do? Make the same money.
Yep.
You have guys in the fishing industry that don't need a dollar. Like they are losing money in fishing. Like they don't care. They just want to become a pro angler. So like they're giving them their money constantly. They've got millions. They don't care. So they look at all that. They don't care what we have to say. They don't care about the dollar. They're over there. They're just trying to figure out what's in it for them. I would say fishermen as a whole, I don't want to say this. Yeah, I'd say 50-50 that you've got 50% of the fishermen that are in it for all of us, like for all the fishermen, and then you got 50% of them that are 100% in it for them and nobody else. And those guys will screw you over, not on purpose. They just don't care. Like they're gonna sit there and go, oh, these guys aren't gonna show up to the next event. Cool, I'll show up and I'll go.
They have vested interest, and that's what a
Big
lot of
time.
things that people didn't realize at FLW, at the elites, at a lot of these major trails. MLF probably in the same equation because it's still a lot of the same people. That there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes that people never knew and never will know. And so there was people that you would ask for support or something like that would never support you because they had vested interest in what was going on. So when you do stuff like that, you have to have the support of everybody around you. And when you're doing it for the right reasons, it's hard. Being on that island is a lot harder in that situation. So, but yeah, it's
Well,
crazy.
I wanted to get on this one since we're talking about that. I have not done. I'm not saying I did an equation. I would just say this. I think all small. If you're looking to tournament fish, okay, there's 1,000, 100 to 150 tournaments out there, like $100 to $150 tournaments.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's great if that's all you want to do is go out there and get in a tournament and have some fun and hang out and do all that stuff. The problem is that you still spend the same amount of gas, food, everything's all the same. Your overhead, if your boat, all that's the same. Okay. So you can go, all those it doesn't matter if they paid you back 70%, 80%, 85, 90%. The amount on $100 to $150 tournament you're going to get back, if the percentages are different, it's going to be like $50 extra or $100 extra. So that's irrelevant. So none of those matter to me. Then you get into other tournaments like the next level of like the Texas Team Trail Bass Champs, certain Alabama Bass Trails, the $150 ones, the ones that are like that $250 to $400 range.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the better trails, and when I say better, you can actually make money off of them. And when I say better trails too, they have better incentives.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, any incentive-based trail is better than a regular trail because it's free money. It's money that you can make that is not coming out of your pocket. So any trail that has an incentive-based deal, someone else is putting in extra money into that tournament. That's a better tournament trail. Now, I always say if I'm going to go out there and fish a trail or fish something and they're going to make me travel, then I want to spend a little bit extra money on the entry fee so I can, if I do win some money, I can pay for all my overhead.
Yeah.
The Brandon Belt is like $1,000 split between two people, which is 500. It's not even like, so it's a quarter of the cost of an open, but the difference is, so we can win 50 grand in a Brandon Belt if we win it. Okay. I spend a quarter of the entry fee. Well, a half because because like I'm gonna split it with my partner. So I could whatever. I still get the same amount of incentive money. So if I won a open or I won a Brandon Belt, Skeeter would still pay me the same amount of incentive money. Right. So I'm going to make more money off Skeeter fishing the Brandon Belt than I would the open. Russell has a Vexus. I think it's 10,000 if you fish out of a Vexus. So he would still so you'd still win more money fishing the Brandon Belt on that incentives. Okay. And then on top of that, you're traveling with someone, you're splitting the cost, you're splitting the gas, you're splitting all those things. So it's just, and I'm not driving to
Alabama,
New York, whatever.
Florida. Yeah.
Dude, I'm driving an hour at the most, maybe. I don't even know what this year's schedule is. I'll never drive more than 4 hours away.
Yeah. Unless you went to like Del Rio or something.
Yeah, but we're not going there. So what I'm saying is like
Well, I thought you
that's
said
why
you
they're
know the schedule, Todd. I'm just
huh?
messing with you. I'm just
I
kidding.
can't remember. Rayburn, I think what is it? Rayburn.
I don't remember what it was. I mean, it's
Yeah,
a good
I
schedule though.
don't LBJ might be 5 hours for me. I take
That
that
yeah,
back.
it might be 5 hours, but
So that's why. That's why I think um and
and just for anybody that is wondering, I mean, we'll get back into that. I just wanted to finish off on the one thing everybody keeps asking me about: where am
what?
I fishing and all that
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, I did apply for the angler thing for NPFL. I applied for it. I sent my resume in, all my stuff in to go fish, but it's just to put my name in the hat to if they pick me, whatever. But it's all going to be dependent on what these announcements are that they're coming out with and what the schedule is. Because at this point, do I have to go fish? No. I mean, honestly, the way it's set up this year, NPFL fits my life better because of how my TV show works, but everything revolves around my child and and the TV show. I mean, that's just what it is. And I mean, so but I mean, I'm not discounting the opens either. Like I won't fish all 8 opens, I can tell you that. I'm going to fish like one division if I do. Um So and there's a chance. I know I talked to a buddy of mine the other day, a buddy of both Todd and I was going to fish Brandon Belts. So like, there's a chance I fish the Open in Brandon Belts. There's a chance I fish the NPFL by itself. There's a chance I fish NPFL and Brandon Belts. There's going to be some combination of something going on to make it make sense. And there's a chance I don't fish anything. I mean, there's still that legitimate chance that I'd still fish like Brandon Belts, but I wouldn't fish the Opens or NPFL. I mean, there's just as likely a chance that I say, "Yeah, I'm just not this year," because it has to make sense to what I'm doing and how everything works out. And I mean, Todd knows you know the strenuous schedule of the show, and when you're shooting 39 episodes a year, I shoot about 27 or 28 of them. I mean, it's a lot of episodes that I have to shoot, between March and November, and it's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of time. And so making sure that balances and still have time with my family is a really big thing. So, do I have to fish anything? No, I don't have to go fish. I don't have to fish a tournament if I don't want to. Just go shoot TV shows all the time. But I'm fishing tournaments to kind of stay honed in what's going on, and really working hard on some of these other lakes because I enjoy. At the end of the day, I know had somebody hammer me earlier about not finishing the top 100. I spend as much time shooting shows as I do. I actually more time shooting shows than I do fishing tournaments.
I, who's the one guy who's told you not to?
Yeah, you've been on me about like just stay at home, freaking go shoot your
Well,
shows and
yeah, because I've spent a long time trying to figure out how to get in this industry to where like we've done it. We figured out how to kind of get in it and then stay in it and like I talk to those guys and none of them are really happy. Right?
no,
I mean,
and that's like one of the big things about me. Todd, you asked me the other day about fishing the opens, what I was gonna do, and I've got some good friends, just as you do. We have some really good friends on the elites, good friends on Bass Pro Tour, good friends at every level of this sport. And I don't know very many that are just saying, man, this is the greatest time of my life. I'll be honest, when we fished the FLW tour, like the actual FLW tour, like pre MLF buying them out, the last couple of years there was the most fun I'd ever had fishing tournaments. I was looking forward to the lakes. I still get that like feeling in my stomach, like, man, like here we go. Like, and just gotten pumped up and everything. And a lot of that's just been kind of taken away. And I don't have as much fun as I used to. It's just not. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butt. Like fishing tournaments, going and traveling around has not been at the level of what the fun level as it was back then. Like it just wasn't.
yeah, and I fish like me and Russell. So me and Russell leave for Texoma Wednesday. There hadn't been a single tournament we hadn't had like a blast at. Like
Yeah.
our team stuff in the times me and you fit. Tell me one single team event me and you never had fun at.
Oh, dude, we had a blast. Every one of them.
Every one of
Blast
them.
camps, all of them.
Those team stuff, and that's what I think And maybe some of those guys have never gotten to do it that are fishing on that pro level. But I mean, that team stuff is so much fun. And that's why I do believe at some point in time, I think there's going to be that's going to take over at a higher level. And anyways, I
Well,
just
but
and I
yeah,
and I still like the individual stuff. Like I loved going and fishing that Toyota, but the Toyotas I get to pick and choose. I'm not when I say it's a pick and choose, you get to fish a division of 3. And so chances are they're going to be close to home, right?
right.
And I think next year, what I got, Rayburn, Eufaula, which I'm never a big fan of fishing Rayburn multiple times, but whatever. I always like, but I'm not a Rayburn homer. All y'all know me, and so I hate the fact that we go to Rayburn and
You
let
do
some of
better
those.
outside of Rayburn most of the time.
Yeah, I don't like those guys that just fish Rayburn to only get Rayburn. I like to see them squirm, but they won't squirm anymore. They just won't go fish. Like that's the thing that they won't go fish around.
Hey, Bassman, I didn't take any offense to if I didn't have people coming on here to rib me, it wouldn't be near as much fun. Todd is always wrong whenever he talks to me, but yet he always is right in his mind. So it's hard to talk to some people like that anyway. So it doesn't matter.
The team tournament stuff's fun. And that's the funny thing is like all those guys are done. I have a championship on Texoma, right? And then in like 3 weeks, we all like me, Blake, Marshall, AJ, we all go to like wherever we're going with Wheeler for a free championship.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, everyone can talk about those opens and going and fishing the classic. Dude, I'm going to a free championship where first place is 200 grand, and all
it's
I know
only
is
100,000 less than the classic, by the way.
Yeah, and I fished the last 2 out of the 3 years. I made a top 10, and 1 year I made like 16,000. The other year I made like 26,000.
Yeah,
off a free event from fishing 3 of those events throughout the year. I mean, so I can put those together. I can put a couple opens if I wanted to there, and then fish Bass Champs, Brandon Belts, TTOs, TXTT. I mean, we won a boat.
Yeah,
I mean,
I will say this. When it looks at higher up trails, the reason, because people are gonna be like, well, why would you even consider NPFL? Is the way they spread their tournaments out, and I don't need to fish 10 tournaments a year. The way my schedule works, or 12 or 15 tournaments, I don't have the time for that because I'm not going to give up every Saturday in the fall when I could be coaching my son's youth football stuff. Like, I love it. I love coaching him. I love spending time with him. We're doing a big track deal starting this next year. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I do on the backside of things.
We'll be there.
That people don't ever see, like truly. But the best trail, my favorite trail in the entire country beyond Brandon Belts. I just like how Brandon Belts putting money into it. He's really doing it the right way. And
Brandon Belts doing awesome. He's freaking killing it.
But my favorite trail in the entire United States, truly, is the WAN Bass stuff out west. I love it, dude. It is so much fun because you don't have the animosity of a co-angler, because a co-angler still fishes, okay? But it's a team event each day is basically what it is. And you're meeting a new person every day. And it's 3 guaranteed days of fishing, which I've always been a big proponent of 3 guaranteed days. I hate the fact that we cut from 2 to 3, all that stuff. I love having 3 days to fish.
You don't like the cut?
Dude, I hate it. Because a lot of times, you and I both know, we've been there too many times. On that second day of the event, the last 2 hours, you get on something and you're like, oh my gosh, if I had another day, I would destroy them. And you know it just as well as I do.
I like the cut because, like, the reason I like there's a lot of reasons I like the cut.
But my point to this is, like, you get, when you fish traditional style tournaments where you got a co-angler in your boat, and there's always that animosity. They're always like, man, like, you're back-ending me. You're doing this. And there's always conflict. It's nothing but conflict. When you go fish a WAN Bass tournament, dude, you catch a 5-pounder and that co-angler is about to tackle you out of the boat. He's so excited. I mean, there's so much thrill. If I had a co-angler catch a 5-pounder, 7-pounder, dude, I'm about to tackle him out of the boat. I'm so excited. Casting out the other direction, whatever he's doing. You don't have co-anglers out there complaining that you're scoping too much because they're like, dude, catch every one of them. And it really builds that aspect that it's just a fun event. And that's why I love going out west and fishing the US Open.
But how many? You only do it once, right?
Well, no, like I guess it was in 2020. I went out twice. I went and fished the U.S. Open at Lake Mead, and then I went and fished the California, what they call the California Open at Clear Lake, or 2021, whenever it was. And I went and fished Clear Lake. Was the most fun tournament, maybe one of the most fun tournaments I've ever been to, because Clear Lake is absolutely amazing. But it's just a fun event, and yes, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never ended up in the positive by going out west. Like, I've lost money.
Yeah.
Even when I've cashed checks because I'm driving like
Right.
19 hours or 18 hours, whatever it is. But whatever. But no, you can't fish from the front, both from front deck.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you front and back deck. But it's still, the aspect of it is so much fun.
I did a video on this saying that it's not for me. However, I will say this is that if I only had to do one, like if they had one on Rayburn, I would do, like if they had one a year, I'd do it. I just wouldn't want it to be like if I have points and because I know over time, like anything, I only want it to be about me over time. And what I mean by that is like my skill and my thing.
And I mean,
but a one-off tournament like that, I would fish it in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and we would probably have a better time.
Dude, you'd have so much more fun. Like your co-anglers, like I know I've talked to a few of your co-anglers in the past, from other events, and they're like, well, Todd said like 7 words all day. Didn't even talk to me, didn't look at me, nothing.
You're right.
And because Todd locks in, and that's what he does. I fish with Todd and he doesn't talk to me.
But no, that's not true. Now, if I'm in the boat with you, I talk like if me and you both practiced.
Yeah, if we're practicing, but
that's my
you lock in, dude.
My number one thing when I tell everyone is this, and it happened in this last event too. Someone goes, hey, there's a bunch of docks over there with brush. I'm like, yeah, that's not what I'm like. The reason I don't talk, and anyone that watches my private channel and stuff, and so I show tons and tons of interaction with like me and Russell.
Yeah.
And and sometimes I can do a 45-minute video and never have to like talk. Like I'll do a voiceover, but I guarantee you 5 hours of that day, me and Russell are talking during an event.
Yeah.
And we're talking about things. And the reason I don't talk to my co-anglers that much is because one is like I talk out what I'm thinking in my head, but I'm talking it to Russell. One, he's a fishing part. Like, so you're invested with me in the same thing, right? So if me and you were out there, you spent time on the water, you understand what's going on. We've talked about it for the last 2 or 3 days.
Like you understand how the fish move, everything.
Right. In practice, we probably talked 28 times. Yeah. Literally, I will call like, hey, I just got a bite doing this. Have you thought about this? So we're going over that. So there's nothing that's happened in a 5-day period that we don't know what's going on. And so as this is going on in the tournament, we're talking about this, and
it that's matches your game plan. It matches what you're wanting to go do.
And we get along because we're like, hey, are you ready? Like, and it's like, do we need to stay 5 more minutes? Are we ready to go? I think we need to go. Because if that always is good, a relationship, the more you talk like that, the more you're both ready to go, like, hey, let's go. Well, this is why I want to go. Okay, good.
You don't want to get clouded by a co-angler that says, hey, there's docks of brush, because your game plan is I'm going to go do X, Y, Z, and that's A over there. And
I don't mean he can't contribute.
Yeah.
But if he goes, I caught a bunch of fish over there on that bank the other day, and I've had that happen. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, and I just ask questions, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I ask questions not because I want to go over there, but I'm just interested. I'm just going because I'm not setting him up, but I already know what's about to happen. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, on Tuesday? Yeah. I was like, was it really cloudy that day? And like, he's like, yeah, man, they were eating the topwater. I'm like, okay. and it's dead sunny and dead calm today, and I'm going,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're all like that, but I'm just like, hey man, there was a reason they ate that day. I got bit on a top water all that day too.
Yeah.
But it's not going to help us today. And so I just don't. I said the other day, I'm like a little hamster is going on in my head. I'm thinking,
Well,
do I
that's
need
why
to
a lot
leave?
of your YouTube videos go for like 3 hours
Yeah. Well, I'm
because
thinking, do I need to like fish the
digest it
next?
all.
Like, do I need to leave now? Do I need to go 10 more casts? Like, when do I need to go? Where do I need to go? Like,
But I think that's what makes you a successful angler too, is because it is always spinning and you don't get complacent in what you're doing. And that's
no.
complacency in what you're doing is, I mean, doing the same thing over and over. And that's the definition of insanity, and expecting different results. And that's the truest statement that there can be. If I'm fishing a bank and let's just say, and I'm not talking patterns or anything, and I'm just fishing down a bank and I fish the bank for 500 yards and I don't catch nothing. Do you think the next 500 is going to be any better, or the next 500 is going to be any better? And if I just keep fishing for 2.5 miles and I don't catch anything, and I expect it to be different, then I'm wrong. What are you gaining from that? So always having that mindset of like I'm going to keep adjusting and keep making changes until I land on what I need to do is the right thing to do. But I have fished enough tournaments with Todd, especially team tournaments, and um, we're always communicating as far as like, hey man, like they're not eating this right, or something doesn't seem right, or like what,
Always.
yeah, and it's
But
all
we know it's not right because of our practice.
right.
But if you weren't with me in practice, then you're like, is
You
this
don't,
bite good? Like, man, we're catching the heck out of them. Like, dude, we've caught like 10 in an hour. We were catching 30. Right. So you just never, and so I just don't, like I said, I'm just thinking more. I'm always thinking about trying to like figure out, because I think decision making is not at a certain point of level. I think decision making is 95% of my success nowadays. It's not anything else.
that's not the fact that you throw like 5 baits all the time. I'm just messing with you.
Man, I thought, man, what are you talking about?
Dude, I have fished with you for 20
The front
years.
deck of my boat doesn't look like anyone that watches my videos sees all them freaking rods all spread out there, and I'm all going through them. I got
You realize
4.
that we fished together for 20 years?
Yeah, the other day I was out there throwing all kinds of stupid stuff.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if it was a tournament and you were locking in on something, you would go back to your confidence stuff and you would throw what you throw.
Well, that works.
That's my point, though. Like,
Like, I'm not going to throw stuff that doesn't
despite
work that
all this
good.
forward-facing sonar stuff, at the end of the day, if the going gets tough, I can guarantee you Todd has a swim jig in his hand. He has
No,
top water.
not a swim jig.
Used to be.
I don't know. I can tell you, I don't know if I weighed in a fish this year on a swim jig.
You did last year. I know that.
No, I didn't.
Well, when did we fish the Red River?
Well, yeah, then I did.
That year, yeah. When I'm telling you, and I'm not just saying Rayburn, but like
I'm
other
not saying.
places, you used to throw a swim jig all the time.
Yeah, but then like all these lakes have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
I used to throw that Rage Swimmer on a squadron head for like 5 years and catch them everywhere.
5 straight years everywhere.
And it worked. And I'm not saying it still doesn't work. It's just Live Scope has changed some stuff. But I mean, I will say we haven't Live Scope fished after about the winter time. Like, man, there's not much Live Scoping going on.
I mean,
I throw a frog a lot. I
was
throw a
gonna
frog.
say that's where I was going to go.
I throw a frog a lot.
Whether it be a pad perch or popping perch, you throw them equally a lot.
And dude, I've got all those videos from this year. Everyone's going to get mad when I come out at about November, and there's going to be about 42 frog videos in a row going, why did you save all these? I have a reason. But yeah.
Did you save the one where I smoked you on a frog that day?
Where was this at?
Mac. Me and you. When the water was real high, though. It was way different, but
You didn't get smoked me on a frog. Guy.
I think I caught 4 and you caught 3.
No, I caught 3 in a row. I can't remember.
I beat you on the frog that day. There's no doubt.
You sure?
Yes. I very much know I beat you on the frog.
No, I didn't. I don't have that video because we were in your boat film.
Yeah, but you were on the front. For anybody wondering, it could be my boat. It could be Joe Blow's boat over there. If Todd is in your boat, he's going to move you out of the way and get on the troll motor because he's like, nope, you're not doing it right.
I did it to Zona too.
So annoying. Well, Todd, I got to roll. We got homecoming week here, and we're about to get a parade rolling and all that stuff. So, thank you for having me on. I will post an update when all this crap comes together. I hope within the next 2 weeks, so I can at least have an idea what the heck I'm going to
We
do.
didn't even get to talk about it, but I'm going to tell you this. What's the over under on the 5 guys that made the BPT on them fishing it the next year?
What do you mean?
The 5 guys from the Invitational. Okay.
Oh, I don't even know who made it. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's real bad, but I don't have any idea who made it.
Alec Morrison. I think that Jake Lawrence.
Oh, the kid from here made it too.
Jaden Parrish, Marshall Hughes, Kobe Miller.
Right.
Of those 5, what's the over and under on those guys?
If I had to
Only
guess.
2 of them will fish?
If I had to guess. I mean, and that's just a guess. That's just
it's a pretty good over and under guess. You might be right.
I mean, the only reason I say that is because of all the stuff that happened with Stefan this year, and the fact that they're continually going to cut the field. Why would you even go sign up? Like, I mean, I look at it from a different lens, I guess, probably maybe than some, but I'm yeah.
How many don't fish? Well, that will never be said. I think a lot of that is going to
where's Zach Bird's going to fish? Because I don't know. I mean, I have a feeling he's out. He made a cryptic social media post like 2 weeks ago. He's going to do what's best for his family, and
well, they keep leaving. And see, I was going to ask Matt about that. So if Randy Howe and Cliff left,
well, I thought Cliff had already left.
I don't know. I don't.
The opens this past year.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Cliff had already left, but Randy Howe definitely had not.
So if he left, and say you're right, say only 2 of those rookies join in, there's 3 other spots. Where do those 3 spots go to?
I have no idea.
Would one of them go to Matt?
All the time, so I don't know.
Or because there's no way they would go down the list of the invitationals. We both know that.
I think they would. Well,
no.
They would go down they'd go back down the Bass Pro Tour list, no doubt.
100%, because it's all about them.
Yeah,
they're definitely not about the new guys.
But even if they gave it to Matt, I don't know if he would take it. I mean, I don't talk to him all the time, but I don't.
Well, do you realize? Here's the crazy part: if he fished the next year, if he finished 11th place overall, he would still not requalify.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, I need more stability than that.
No, it's bad. It's so bad. Yeah. And so the only way he can make it is if he top 10'd it, just because top 10 you're guaranteed is what he said back in.
Yeah, I couldn't live like that. There ain't no way. Not a chance. But all right, dude. Well, have a good one and holler at me sometime this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer one of these questions.
All right, we'll see, man.
All right. Real quick. Is Brandon Belt making money? Look, I have no idea. I was gonna say this until Ricky said it. Look, I've always been about some of these companies making money. Like, I don't care how much money they make, to a certain degree, right? In the sense of, I don't care if Brandon makes $1 million a year. He's making it more fair and more money than anyone else is doing. So I do believe he lost some money in the first year, but I think when you do something really good and you grow a product really good and he's growing it really well, like, people are going to invest or people are going to like help out. So yeah, I hope nothing comes out of his pocketbook, but I also hope he continues to like strive to make a better and better trail and more money in the pot down the road, and I think it'll keep going that way. So I think, it's not going to be overnight, but I think he's doing really good. So I can't believe Stefan is considering trying to qualify for BPT again. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get him on. I didn't call him this week. So yeah, it goes to the lifetime average next in line. Yeah, I mean, like I said, all those rules made it so it was really hard to get into that thing. I mean, it was definitely like, let's take care of who's here. And that's always a recipe for disaster. I think I think it's a recipe for disaster too in the Bassmaster events for letting having all these old timer status guys come back in. I don't think it's great. I could be wrong. I might be the only one, right? But I don't think having whatever they call it, the what is that? I can't even think of it. I wish Andrew was here now. One of y'all freaking help me out here. Exemptions. It's not the old timer exemptions. It's the legends exemptions. I beat everyone. I don't think that's a great thing. I think you keep on letting those guys in. I still beat you. Beat you, Joffrey. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's the best thing in the world. That's just me though. They always want to say, hey, we're growing the sport, we're trying to freaking the new guy, all this stuff, and yet, oh, by the way, you were once here with us, now you left, now you're back. I mean, make them requalify. It just, so I don't know, what are they allowed to just fish forever and just keep on not catching them? I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't have done it. That's just me though. So anyways, yeah, I'll try to get Matt on if I can next week. Although I'll be practicing. I'll see if I can get him on Monday, Tuesday, and ask him about it. But all right. Thanks for showing up, guys. See y'all.